Hello and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. I'm so excited this week to share with you a motivational video from one of my spiritual mentors, Pastor Matt Schantz. Had an opportunity to do ministry with him in Mount Pleasant, Michigan at his house Christian church. You're going to get an amazing, motivating word today. I pray that you will take the time to sit back, relax, and hear what he has to say. So without further ado, here is Pastor Matt Schantz with this week's Monday Motivation.
Hey everyone, Greg, thanks for letting me be a part of this Monday morning motivation. And I got to know Gregg back in the day up in Mount Pleasant when he was working up there at the university, and I was working as a pastor on the edge of campus there. And he became a great friend and is one of the most encouraging fellas I've ever met, and just a man of God. And so I appreciate the chance to speak this morning, Monday morning. I wanted to tell you about a phrase that I heard a while back that has just stuck with me, and it's kind of catchy. It's a little bit gimmicky, but it sticks with me. And it has to do with when you're struggling to finish something or complete something or go after something that you know you need to do, but for whatever reason you're afraid, or you just don't have the motivation, or whatever it is. And it's the phrase like this. It says your why has to be bigger than your but. If you want to accomplish something, your why has to be bigger than your but. What are we talking about here? Well, the why is the reason why you're doing this thing. And it has to be a good reason. It has to be a reason that impacts and connects to your soul and your heart for especially really difficult things, to be able to persevere. Because what happens over time is that when we get into something that takes a long time, it's a difficult challenge, all of a sudden excuses start to come out, like, why did I start to do that anyway? But I wanted to do this, but I think other things are more important. Or I wanted to do this, but you know what, I thought somebody else will do that. And all of a sudden we start to have all kinds of excuses, and our but starts to get more prominent than our why, and all of a sudden we bail and we abandon that thing that we knew God called us to do. But we don't pursue it, don't chase it down. A story that I want to tell you to kind of lock into that is about two fellas actually, by the name of Prakash and Satish. They live in Kolkata, India. Prakash is a barber, and Satish is a guitar player, music instructor. And these guys are Jesus lovers. They love Jesus. And so whenever they get a chance, they tell people about Jesus. And so Prakash, when he cuts people's hair, he gets in the middle of a haircut and starts to tell them about Jesus. That's just what he does. They can't leave. They're in the middle of a haircut. So he tells them. And, the other fella, he during music lessons, he would give free lessons just to be able to tell people about Jesus. Well, these guys were so committed to leading people to Christ that they started a little church way out in the village, way out, a long ways away. And they really wanted me to go visit this place. So finally I decided I would, and I didn't really know what I was getting into, because we got way out in a vehicle, and the vehicle couldn't go any further, so we had to hop another ride in some other vehicle, and then we got out and we had to walk quite a ways through the woods. And I started to think about the area we're in. It's called West Bengal, and I started thinking about Bengal. Where have I heard of Bengal? And it reminded me of a Bengal tiger. I said, there's surely no tigers in this area, guys, are there? Is there any? Oh yeah, they're all over the place. And I thought, okay, and here we are walking out here, and this started to concern me a little bit. So I put one of them in front of me and one behind me. I kept going. We got to this little village, and had just a great time being at this little church all day. And it got until it'd be dusk, and I thought, hey guys, we should probably get back, because there's Bengal tigers out there. I don't want to be walking at night. And the villagers encouraged us to stay as well. And Prakash, he said, you know what? He says, you know why they want us to stay? They're afraid for us to go, and that's because they don't know the story. And I thought, what story are you talking about? They're new believers, new Christians. They didn't know anything of the Bible. So he started to tell them the story about Daniel and the lion's den. And I don't know if you know the story. It's a great story. But Daniel's thrown into this lion's den. The king is tricked and has to throw Daniel in. And, nobody comes out of the lion's den alive because these lions are hungry. But Daniel did. The king showed up the next day and said, Daniel, you're in there. And Daniel said, I am. The Lord my God has shut the mouth of these lions, and he saved me. And the king pulled him out. And so their conclusion to that story was, we don't have to be afraid to walk home tonight because we have a God who shuts the mouth of lions and tigers, I guess. And, I'd read that story. I told that story to my kids. It was a familiar story to me, but that had never been my conclusion, that I was safe to walk home in Bengal tiger territory. But see, these guys were so committed to doing what God had called them to do. Their why was so much bigger than their butt. And there was a big butt there. Bengal tigers is no small butt. But it wasn't big enough to overcome their why. They were committed, called by God to reach these people, and so they were willing to do that. And so as you walk into whatever challenge you face today, this week, I want you to kind of go back to the why of what you've been called to do. There's this great passage in Joshua where Joshua's supposed to lead the people of Israel into the promised land. He's young, he's a new leader. And God says several times, Joshua, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. I got things for you to do. Be strong and courageous. I'm going to be with you. And my favorite verse growing up, because I was a little bit shy growing up, it's 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. It says, for God did not give us a spirit of timidity or spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and love and self-discipline. And so God has called you to something. Stay the course, work hard, make sure you remember why you're called to do that thing, and don't let your excuses rule the day. So, my why is strong enough because I believe in this thing, and I'm gonna trust that God's with me to make it through. So that's my encouragement this week. I pray for you. I hope all goes well, and blessings to be with you. Thanks for the opportunity. Take care.
Well, thank you, Pastor Matt, for that motivating word. I hope we all make sure to remember that our why needs to be bigger than our but. Well, that's all we have this week for Monday Motivation. We pray that you will join us back here in 2 weeks for Agape Leaders Monday Motivation. But until then, you have a blessed week.